There'd be no corners to clean. The highest point of the island is in the north, 450 feet above sea level. Jersey's rectangle in shape and measures 9 by 5 miles and is growing all the time with land reclamation. But when we have those big tides that I was telling you about earlier, the tide can go as far as 1.5 miles out, giving us an extra landmass of 18 miles to the island. The island's divided up into 12 parishes, all of different sizes, shapes and population. Every parish has a parish school, pub, church and a parish hall, and they also all have access to the coast. And this stems back to medieval times, when in those days if you committed a crime, you had a chance to flee your punishment. You stayed 8 nights in the parish church, and on the 9th day you walked down what's called a sanctuary path, a percage, a path to freedom, and this led to the coast. Whilst you were on this path, no one could harm you or punish you. When you got to the coast, hopefully there was a friend of yours waiting there with a boat who would take you off the island. You would flee your punishment all right, but you were exiled from the island. You'd probably be taken to France. The other reason for access to the beach was to go collecting seaweed, or wrack as we call it. Years ago you'd go down on the beach with your horse and cart and collect the seaweed, the wrack, off the beaches. Take it back and spread it over the fields. Not only the most cheapest fertiliser, but the most natural one too. And the older generation of Jersey folk will say that the homegrown veg had never tasted the same, my love, using modern fertiliser. Across the road, the house with the archway is called Merman, and this was the summer residence of a famous actress, a famous lady born over here in 1853. She was christened Emily Charlotte Le Breton, the daughter of the rector of St Helier, William Corbett Le Breton, who was later to become our Dean of Jersey. She grew up with 6 brothers, so she was very tomboyish in her ways. She loved to play cricket and football, which in those days for a young lady didn't fare well. She was always getting in trouble for playing practical jokes. When she was 16, she had the most beautiful lily white skin, so they nicknamed her Lily, a name she kept for the rest of her days. At the age of 21, she married a wealthy shipbuilder from Belfast called Edward Langtry. The lady's name was Lily Langtry. Whilst her marriage was not a great success, she still carried on acting and travelling the world and meeting many famous people. She wined and dined with the best and had many admirers. She wined and dined with Oscar Wilde, and Judge Roy Bean named a town in Texas Langtry after her. An Australian admirer bought her a racehorse. She loved her racing at Ascot, hence the name of the house being called Merman, as the racehorse was called Merman too. And she was given a railway carriage. But her claim to fame must be having an affair with the Prince of Wales, Bertie, the son of Queen Victoria, who was later to become our King Edward VII. She was certainly a lady before her time. She died a very wealthy lady in Monaco in 1929, and her body was brought back here and is in St Saviour's Cemetery, the parish where she grew up, and her tombstone is easily found for tourists to see. Just in front of us, over the seawall, is a lovely view of St Aubin. In the late 17th century, it was thriving with shipbuilding and sailmaking and fishing. It was a very busy port, but it was never the capital of Jersey. St Helier has always been the capital, even though 4 times as many people lived in St Aubin in those days. But they made one big mistake and they realised it. They'd built it in a hill, and it was never going to be big enough. So in the very early 1700s, a lot of people packed their bags and took their trades with them and walked across the sand dunes and the beaches as it was then and started building St Helier as we know it today.